What's up, everybody? My name's Andres. This is episode 1 of the Ventura County Squawk Box. On this episode, I have Mayor Stephen Gama from the city of Port Hueneme. We met at the beach. You can hear the sounds of the beach and the wind and the people passing by. He shares the importance of how he feels Port Hueneme is a city of healthy people and promoting health because of you can take long walks on the beach and swims in the ocean. Anyway, enjoy the show. Mayor Stephen Gama from the city of Port Hueneme. Thank you for making time for me today to discuss your city and your vision and your citizens. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody, when you started as mayor, and biography.
Yeah, I've grown up in this area. When I was 5 years old, busing came into play on the north side of Oxnard, and so I was going to be bused into Colonia. My dad was Dr. Gama. He had his office in Colonia. He came to Colonia to be the industrial medical provider for all the immigrant farm laborers, and he felt that he'd rather me not go to school in Colonia because of busing, so I started going to Hueneme Christian here in Port Hueneme. So that was my first introduction to the city of Port Hueneme. Of course, we always went fishing on the pier, and so I've always had really fond memories of the city going back to my childhood. And then we moved out to Camarillo, went to Rio Mesa High School, proceeded to Ventura College, California Lutheran University, and then upon my graduation, I came back to the city of Port Hueneme, and I've been here now for I think 24 years, perhaps. Live really close to the beach. Didn't like what I was seeing around here a few years ago, and I decided to get involved, and I got elected 2 years ago, and I became mayor the tail end of December of 2020.
All right. And when is your tenure up?
So here in the city of Port Hueneme, we have what's called a charter city. So we alternate the mayorship among the city and council members. So, so next December, we'll pass the torch to Mayor Pro Tem Rich Rollins.
And that's just to keep the leadership changing, or why would you, as a city, choose to do that instead of mayor officially?
So it's a different way of governance. So you could have a city like the city of Oxnard. They elect a mayor every 2 years.
Yeah.
And so it's just a different method of governance. We're a charter city. We rotate the responsibility of the mayor through all the seated council members. So it's interesting.
So it keeps continuity, but it lets other people take charge of.
Yes, it's actually it creates a need for us to even work more closely together. And of course there's constraints because of the Brown Act, but the five of us need to work closely together, realizing that each one of us will be the mayor, and hopefully we're able to do that. And so far so good. I mean, I think we have a really good council. We have a new council. Mayor Pro Tem Rollins, Councilmember Hernandez, and then me. We've only been on council for 2 years and 4 months. So, and then Bobby Martinez and Misty Perez are brand new. So our council is very young and in experience as being city council members. But I don't think it takes away from our passion or our desire for better, because that's what we're all here for, to try to make better.
For sure. The Ventura County Squawk Box is brought to you by the Ventura County Financial Times, the only Ventura County magazine that focuses on financial matters local to Ventura County, written by financial experts within the county. Visit us at vcfinancialtimes.com to sign up to be a writer or contributor to the magazine, to ask about advertising, or to subscribe. Launching in winter 2021. And now, back to the show. Yeah, so we're out here at the beach.
Yeah, we're at the Alaska 261 Memorial. It's a place I spend time at every week. We do a weekly cleanup, starting with maintaining this beautiful memorial.
And can you tell everyone what it's about?
So January 31st,
2020, I think.
2020, or no, 2000.
20. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
2020 was the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
2000 was when.
Yeah. So it's been 20 years. The plane was having difficulties with its tail rudder, specifically the jack screw, and they're trying to get back to Los Angeles International Airport when it failed, and they crashed in the ocean, I think about 10 miles offshore, and nobody survived. And so this memorial was established in memory of all the victims.
And was the city involved in that I guess rescue or
Yeah, the Navy.
recovery?
Yeah, the recovery was spearheaded by the Coast Guard and the Navy, and of course they used the Navy base for the recovery efforts. And it's really cool. I've gotten to know a lot of the family members for over the years, because every year we have a little bit of a remembrance, and we do some maintenance with the family members.
Mm-hmm.
We have this annual maintenance program that we do. So yeah, it's really nice to get to the families. They love the city of Port Hueneme, and
Yeah.
this, this is the resting place to the Chumash. The Chumash
yeah.
Indian were here long before the Port of Hueneme or the city of Port Hueneme, and so this place has a reverence with the ocean. You notice there's dolphins here
Yeah.
on the memorial, and again, that's a reference back to the marine life. The Chumash have a bunch of interesting stories about this area.
So when was it installed?
This was installed, I think, 3 years after the crash. So the memorial has been here for 18 years, I believe.
Yeah.
I think 2003 is when it was
Oh, there you go.
completed. So yeah, 18 years.
Wow. And how many? I mean, I don't know if you would know how many
88.
family members. How many family members have come to see the memorial?
Oh, quite a bit. At the 20-year anniversary, there was a lot of people here, like in excess of 150.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, like to understand the stories. There's a lot of interesting stories behind the people who were on that fateful flight.
Yeah. It looked like, just taking it it looked like a commuter flight maybe.
They were coming back from Mexico.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah,
Wrong guess.
Alaska Airlines, and they
Oh.
were down in I forget where they were, but there's a story over there.
Yeah.
Puerto Vallarta, I believe,
All
is
right.
where they were coming from. There, and a lot of people on this flight were from Seattle,
Right.
because this was an Alaska flight. So if you go around, it's really interesting to look at the they have their birth dates on there. So there's a couple. I think that the youngest one was like a child that was 6 months old.
Right.
But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be able to care for a monument like this, and I know the families greatly appreciate.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The fact that we look after it.
Yeah. Well, it's important to remember things like this.
Yeah.
So if you had to describe the city of Port Hueneme in one sentence, probably a difficult task, how would you describe it?
We are a beach community that is dedicated to wellness, and whether you like it or not, sometimes being near the beach is tough. I mean, we've had these strong winds over the last
Yeah.
few days, so you
Yeah.
have to pay your dues. But this place is so important to so many different people, and it's pretty amazing to get to know all the people that come from Oxnard, Thousand Oaks, Ventura. I mean, it's amazing. People come from all over the place to walk down to the lighthouse, but there's
Yeah.
a constant activities, wellness activities going on here. We're getting ready to bring our lifeguards back on the beach. They're highly involved in the junior lifeguard program.
Right.
So we take very seriously trying to educate kids
Yeah.
about the dangers of the ocean. This is a very dangerous ocean, and you need to
Yeah, for
learn
sure.
about it. And so We're also working really hard right now with the Oxnard Union High School District to try and establish a Learn to Swim program.
Okay.
And like we talked about before
Yeah.
we got on recording devices here, is that our community, the community of South Oxnard and Hueneme,
Yep.
we have disadvantaged youth and kids, and so one of the priorities that we need to do is make sure kids know how to swim.
Safety for sure. It's a
Yeah.
big priority.
Right. In
Yeah.
more affluent areas, swimming lessons are like a rite of passage to a young kid. So we're gonna have a Learn to Swim program in conjunction with Oxnard Union High School District, and we really want to look after the youth of our community. We think it's really important.
Yeah, because it used to be at the Oxnard High School. Learn to swim.
I learned to swim at Oxnard
I
High.
learned to swim at the old Oxnard High School. Yeah,
me too.
And the new one was holding them. I don't know what transpired, but they decided not to do them anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I used to work for Oxnard Union High School District. I was there when we built the brand new pool at Oxnard High, an Olympic-sized pool, and we put into place we had everything. We had senior citizen water aerobics. We had infant swimming lessons. We had regular swimming lessons. We had lap swimming, free swim, water polo practice. I mean, that pool was busy. So I don't know what happened, but I do know that the Hueneme High School pool has been renovated beautifully, and that we want to be a part of that pool. So we want to teach kids how to swim at Hueneme High School, and so we're working out all those details right now with Dr. McCoy with the Oxnard Union High School District.
Yeah, my daughter was in Channel Islands Aquatics, a swim team that would practice at Oxnard High School. Their last couple of months before they decided to hang it up was at the refurbished Hueneme pool.
Yeah. Beautiful place.
Yeah,
really,
it is.
They really did a wonderful job.
Nicely done.
It's funny that you just reminded me something which is a milestone in and of itself, is that the Oxnard Union High School District has pledged to have a pool at every high school in the district. So Pacifica, Channel Islands, they're going to get their own pool. And so that's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for the city of Oxnard, the city of Port Hueneme, the city of Camarillo. Of course, the city of Camarillo has a pool as well, but to partner and to utilize those assets to benefit our community, because that's what we're here for, is to benefit the community, to make things safer, better, and more enjoyable for all.
So community, right now, housing is a hot topic.
Big
issue.
topic.
What do you envision, or what do you think should be done, or for more affordable housing for, I guess it would be like the first-time home buyer, the young professional in the area?
It's tough. I mean, I was extremely fortunate. So when I was in college, I actually bought the least desirable condominium unit in the city of Port Hueneme probably ever. It was right over here at Surfside 2, I believe it's called. For those of us who live here, we always get mixed up on the Surfsides. There's Surfside 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
And anyway, so it's the one over here, and I believe it's Surfside 2. My unit was like the bottom story unit right next to the main gate when you'd come in.
All right.
And so I bought that, sold it, and then I was able to parlay it into a better house, a bigger house, a more expensive house, and then I moved a block away into the current house that I live in. So it's tough. So if I were just getting in the market right now, it's very difficult to qualify and to come up with money to buy a house. And so I don't know if there is a solution. Even a tiny house is quite an investment,
So like no plans to build here in the city?
Well, we right now we have a Habitat for Humanity project, which is going to benefit 5 families, and it's really cool. And we've started the groundbreaking on that, and construction is beginning to ramp up. And so, but that's only 5 units.
Yep.
And in regards to the city of Port Hueneme, we have very few lots available to build on, and so. So with that fact, then any desire to build housing units would have to go up in the air. And so, and if we were able to come up with a 6-story, 7-story concept project, it would be hard pressed to make it affordable. I just don't know, how do you make things affordable when you have an economy that's so expensive. I mean, my property taxes alone are $700-800 a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I have a pretty modest house. It's not. I mean, so yeah, it's. And these condominiums that we see here, they're very expensive. Even though the least desirable ones in the back without an ocean view are upward of $400,000-500,000.
Right.
So it's a real tough issue.
It's like you said, the dues, aside from the wind that we have to experience, the dues we have to pay to live by the beach.
Yeah, you have to pay some dues. But I'll tell you though, even today, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. The waves are pretty big. There's a little bit of wind out there, but the good news is it's not as windy as it was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It was really windy. But that's what we, when you live at the beach, you have to deal with certain aspects of it that aren't comfortable. But man, I'll tell you, 90% of the time it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
At nighttime, it's amazing to come out to walk on the beach. You'd be surprised how many people are out here at night walking when there's no wind. And again, like, this is a wellness place. People come here to clear their mind,
right,
and walk and go bird watching.
Saw a lot of walkers already just waiting for you.
Yeah.
So the Port of Hueneme, is that under the city's purview or?
No, the Port of Hueneme is a special district, and we absolutely love the Port of Hueneme. If you live down here by the beach like I do, then if you didn't like the port, you wouldn't move here, because that would be a reason for you not to move here. But many of us love to see the ships come in.
Right.
We love to see we
see them. They're gone. There's one over there.
Yeah, that's a what they call a mega ship headed towards San Francisco from Long Beach. But I'm told that ship that we can see right now probably has like 10,000 cans on it.
Wow.
Yeah. But here in the Port Hueneme, it's a niche market. It's a special district. So the Port of Hueneme is governed by the Oxnard Harbor District, if you can believe that. And then
actually, I read that, and that's why I asked, because it was kind of
it's crazy,
confusing on what it actually meant.
It's crazy. So let me see if I can explain this in the most historical and educational way.
All right.
Okay. So there was a family, and the name of the family was the Bard family, and the Bard family estate. They came here from Pennsylvania, I believe, looking for oil, and so their estate was from the beach here all the way to Channel Islands Boulevard, and then straight down all the way to the end of Channel Islands Boulevard where it hits Hollywood Beach.
Okay.
So that was the Bard family estate.
Yeah.
So they quickly realized oil wasn't going to be a part of their operations here, and they realized that there's a submarine canyon right off where the west-facing beach of Silver Strand connects to the south-facing beach of Hueneme.
Okay.
So they determined that would be the perfect place for a deep water harbor.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to get federal support for it. The federal government didn't want anything to do with it. So they went to the city of Oxnard and proposed some bonds. So that's how they got some of the funding, most of the funding to build the commercial Port of Hueneme. So that was in 1939. So in 1941, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. Well, that meant that the West Coast was wide open to possible invasion.
Right.
So the federal government came in and basically took over the Bard family estate and the Port of Hueneme, took over 100% of it, and this became the Pacific Theater Logistics Hub. And so there's all this wonderful information about what happened here. But basically, there was thousands of CVs that would come here and get trained, and then they would ship off to the Pacific Theater. So after the war, the federal government gave back half of the port of Hueneme to the Oxnard Harbor District and kept half of it, and the rest of the state they bought and it established Naval Base Ventura County. So quite a turn of events there for the Bard family. But if you think about it, the Bard family was perfectly positioned World War II and Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor. They're perfectly positioned to establish an amazing port.
Yeah.
I mean, probably rival to that of Long Beach, because they that was all their property. However, when the federal government obtained that property and paid them off, bought it from them, it kind of boxed in the area as we know it today. So there is one road into the port that's open, and that's a Hueneme Road. And then there's they could do rail shipping out the the north side of the port through Woolley Road, I guess. They do a lot of that. So it's a real neat place for those of us that live. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of niche cargo that comes through there, like big trucks and yachts and
bananas,
but not a bananas, mucho bananas.
Yeah, you guys there's the Chiquita warehouse there, right?
Yeah, a lot of bananas. Yeah, and so you can see now over there. We're looking at 5 cranes, and
I noticed that
the very first crane of that size arrived about 5 or 6 years ago. So that is a sign of the times, is that they've transformed from being what they called bulk shipping, break bulk shipping, to containerized shipping.
Yeah.
So now in terms of the fruit, it all comes in refrigerated containers, and there's a whole process about, bananas are green and they wait for nitrogen, and so there's a way where they expose the green bananas to nitrogen, I believe, and then they ripen, and so they have it all timed out perfectly. So when those bananas, so this is a West Coast delivery of bananas. So a lot of the bananas that come through here get trucked up to Seattle, if you could believe that, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, and so a lot of bananas, a lot of cargo, a lot of specialized cargo, a lot of cars, and the city benefits from the port activities. The city of Port Hueneme, I should say. We have these complicated revenue sharing agreements. So we get about $2 million this year from the port in revenue.
Largest employer, or is it the base?
I think. Well, it depends how you look at it. If you add up all the jobs connected to all the port activity, then I think you probably have the largest employer in Ventura County. And then when you put the base on top of it, then definitely for sure between the port and naval base Ventura County, they're probably the #1 provider of jobs in the region. But the city of Oxnard benefits probably 15, 20 times fold than the city of Port Hueneme, because we do not have industrial space.
Yeah.
So when you go down Hueneme Road and you see the BMW, Jaguar, and those processing facilities, those are in the city of Oxnard. The main Chiquita Banana warehouse is in the city of Oxnard. Dole is in the city of Oxnard. So most of the benefits of the economic activity go to cities outside of the city of Port Hueneme, because we are so landlocked and we have very few open areas for development, and that goes back to the question about affordable housing. It's like
where
can
you put it?
And the only way to go would be up, but even that would be a challenge. So yeah, the Port of Hueneme is it's a really important place, and we love it. I mean, I love it. I love the fact that the technology that they're driving, they're really working hard to be. In fact, they are the greenest port in America.
All right.
And being a niche port, being here in the county of Ventura, they have some advantages that makes it possible for them to work towards that goal. And so there was, like, not too long ago, the ships would come into port, and if the wind was going the wrong way, that diesel exhaust would be blowing over my house, you know? So now they have every ship that comes in could plug in to shoreside power, so they don't have to run their generators. So those are the type of things that are really exciting to watch develop, because there was a time where it was a little different.
Yeah, we took a Cub Scout troop tour of the lighthouse. And so when you're up there, you get to see the Navy side and the port side.
And isn't it interesting, from the lighthouse, when you look out, you realize there's no breakwater in front of the mouth of the port of Hueneme. And what that tells you is that submarine canyon is right there. And so waves will never develop and break into the port of Hueneme. So it's really, that's what gives it the name, it's a natural deep water harbor.
And they said you don't have to dredge this harbor.
The dredging, the dredging that has to happen is to keep Hueneme Beach sustainable, because when when the port of Hueneme was put in, they disrupted the natural flow of sand. So generally speaking, about 1.2 million cubic yards of sand was coming around the corner naturally by the wind and by the southern tidal currents. And so that's what made Hueneme Beach this big, expansive beach of sand. But so every 2 years, the federal government has to come in and help move the sand that's building up behind the rudder room. Because when they built the Channel Islands Harbor, they constructed a sand trap to trap the sand so that they could move it around to replenish Hueneme Beach. And then one other interesting thing that happened with that is that people don't realize it, and I have a lot of friends over at Silver Strand Beach, and if they haven't heard this, and if this is the first time they heard it, they might be questioning what I'm going to say. However, so it was determined that they disrupted a natural flow of sand, so they needed to figure out a way to move the sand that originates from the Santa Clara River, and then it starts a journey south. And so the Bard family donated Silver Strand Beach to the county so that the county could establish the Channel Islands Harbor and the sand trap necessary to trap the sand so it could be bypassed to the city of Port Hueneme's beach.
Wow.
Kind of complicated.
Everyone's chopping up the beach here.
It's all chopped up, man. And then, and then let's go back to way before the Port of Hueneme. This was the place where the Chumash Indians came. They came here to rest. They came here to launch. And what's interesting is that they figured out too that because of that deep submarine canyon, that was the safest place to launch their canoes was from the mouth of, which is now the Port of Hueneme, but before it was just this big expansive beach and sand. And so Silver Strand Beach meets Hueneme Beach, and Silver Strand Beach faces west, and Hueneme Beach faces south. So that point where they meet, that's where the Port of Hueneme mouth is, and that was what the Indians called the launching spot. So the Chumash, this area had two names: the resting place and the launching spot.
Lots of history.
Yes.
And by the port, you have a museum over there.
Correct.
And we also visited that on the Cub Scout trip. And it is, I would say, a hidden gem of the area.
Yes.
It has the history of the whole, and the docents there are ready to explain the whole history to you.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really good spot. I don't think a lot of people know that it's there, nor do they visit.
Yeah.
But I would say it's if you live in the area, it's an important museum to visit.
It is, and we're kind of reconstituting the inside of it right now. I spend a lot of time volunteering there. In fact, right now, Mayor Pro Tem Rollins and I, we're in charge of the outside, and so we're establishing a native milkweed place for butterflies, and we've done this before. And so, but in terms of the museum, yes, and the reconstituting of it is going to be done. It's a plan that's coming together, but it's going to be done with the Seabees, with the Ventura County Museum, and we want to have exhibits come through, kind of more like a regular museum. So right now it's crammed with all the history, and as you know, it's not very big.
No, it's not.
So but there's some great,
lots of sideways walking in there.
Yeah. So we're gonna reconstitute it, make it really nice. And then another interesting fact: the Ventura County Museum in Ventura, the main person responsible for all the stuff in that museum was Cephas Bard. Now, Cephas Bard was a member of the Bard family, and Cephas Bard was one of the first doctors in Ventura County. And so Cephas Bard provided medical services all over the county. And back in those days, there was a lot of bartering going on. So he would trade medical services for a trade, a barter, whatever. So anyways, this guy, Dr. Bard, he amassed an amazing collection of stuff. So when you go to the Ventura County Museum, many of the artifacts there were donated by Cephas Bard. So the Bard family, it's kind of funny because the idea for this port was very long-lived, and it took a really long time for them to realize the dream. And then as quickly as it came, World War II came along, and so it's a real fascinating story to learn about the Bard family. And then one other interesting fact is that Ventura County's only U.S. Senator was Richard Bard.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hope I got that right. It's either Richard or Thomas Bard. There are two brothers, but
Okay.
anyways. So yeah, I believe it was Thomas Bard. We'll have to check that.
We'll fact check that later.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone else will if you don't.
Hopefully, I won't get in trouble for not having
A Bard brother.
A Bard brother was the first and only U.S. Senator from Ventura County.
Wow.
Because California only gets 2 senators.
Yeah.
And back in those days, it was in the 20s, I believe. Prohibition was in play, and so very interesting.
Well, great. This is episode number 1. This is a good first episode. Lots of information about your area.
Yes.
You seem to be a history buff.
Oh, well, there's a lot to learn, but there's a lot to learn and try to keep it all straight. But most importantly, that this area is rich in Chumash history.
Yes.
It's rich in the birds that come here and nest and call this home. It's just an amazing place, and it really is. And you just see, like, just the bird life alone is like amazing. But then when you start talking about the wildlife and the whales and the dolphins, and all these are visible here from Hueneme Beach. Just a couple weeks ago, we saw a whale going by with a calf, and it was, it's always exciting.
Yeah,
beautiful.
That always makes people stop and look.
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
Okay,
super cool.
So any final words? What do you want the city of Hueneme to be remembered for?
We want the city of Hueneme to be reverenced for its wellness. I mean, this is an amazing place, and we want people to be able to come and enjoy it and benefit their mental attitude as well as their physical attitudes. And we feel strongly about that because we get to meet so many people that come here to walk and talk and relax. We love the fact that we're here for the community of South Oxnard. We love the fact that on a holiday weekend you come down here and it's just awash with so many different cultures. Like, you walk around here during the 4th of July weekend and the smells are amazing because we have Filipinos here, Islanders here.
We got a Filipino barbecue going on right here.
Yeah, and everybody just, is so friendly and loving each other. And so for the future, we want to definitely sustain Hueneme Beach. We need to make sure we get that sand delivered every 2 years for the federal government. Definitely want recreational activities. We're working on that. We've updated our Parks Master Plan. Super important to our council to make sure our parks are at that best possible maintenance so that kids could use it for the benefit of growing up, because you have to have recreational activities to grow as a child. And so we're really in a process of making sure we get our parks in order. We want our beach park in order. We want everything to be available and safe and user friendly, and we just want people here to get that added benefit of life. I mean, when you're at a place like this, it's just amazing. I can't tell you how beautiful the sunrises are. It's just amazing to watch the sunrises and the sunsets, and so we want people to be able to enjoy this place.
Cool. All right, more of a fun question. In the city, breakfast spot and dinner spot. What's your go-to?
Oh, there's a lot of good ones. Anna Cappuccino is one of our favorites. Jessica, the owner, is a friend of mine. But if you're looking for a quick little bite to eat with good coffee and good people, Anna Cappuccino is awesome. Antonio's, they have a brunch going on right now.
All right.
The place is awesome. Love that place. Pho Saigon,
that's our
amazing.
Go-to. Yeah.
Sushi Ichi 805, that's one of my big time favorites. I love that place. Antonio's, Denny's, Boar's Breath.
They're good.
IHOP is here. Raging Pot is here. McDonald's. Who else? Surfside Seafood. That's a wonderful place as well.
They just redid that.
Yeah, they do really good there. And the only thing missing is a steakhouse, but then again, there's always my house. So
Yeah, right.
we're pretty good cooks in my house. But yeah, there's a really good opportunities for dining here. And then of course, the cannabis industry. We're not struggling with it, but with a new industry like that comes responsibilities.
For sure.
And so if there is because we're generating revenue for the city, which is great.
Yes.
We're generating an opportunity for people to manage their pain without opiates. That's another big time great aspect of it. But again, we're talking about marijuana, we're talking about cannabis, and so there is that stigma that we have to manage. However, it's been a very positive venture for the city of Port Hueneme. I think our chief of police has done a wonderful job in managing it, and for me, my personal opinion is the benefits far outweigh the negative aspects of it. And for me, I've come from a risk management background. I've managed insurance claims. I know a lot about addiction to pain medication. And so it seems to me that in that area alone, the cannabis industry is really helping to reduce people's reliance of narcotics.
You're giving them an alternative.
Yeah, a non-addictive alternative that's not physically addicting, and that's super important. And it took me about 4.5 years to finally get my mom to agree to try CBD products.
All right, yeah.
Versus pain pills.
Yes.
And and it was so it was really hard. It's really hard, but I can tell you that now she's using CBD, non-THC CBD, which again took a lot of education for my mom to understand. You're not going to get high.
Right.
It's not going to alter your mood.
Yeah. But
this is going to help with that inflammation. And some of the other products out there are very hard on your system.
Right.
When you rely on anti-inflammatory medication, it's really hard on your stomach, and you have these other problems. So that education part about the CBD is really important. And but we are struggling with. Is it going to be viable for us over the long term? City of Oxnard is approving 15 dispensaries to come online. How bad is that going to hurt our revenue stream?
Right.
We don't know.
I think Ventura did the same.
Yeah, Ventura's doing the same. So right now we're struggling with the concept of, should we put a cap? Is enough enough? The prior city council voted to let the market decide, and other cities went an alternative route where they established a cap. I think the city of Ojai said 3 dispensaries. We didn't have a cap, so as it stands right now, I think we have 9, maybe even 11 dispensaries up and running, and they all seem to be doing okay.
Right.
But we want to ensure the industry survives in Port Hueneme.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to deal with these questions of a cap. And manufacturing has been. There's been some people trying to establish a manufacturing capability and business in the city of Port Hueneme, but it hasn't come to fruition yet, and it's pretty much been a flop.
All right. Well, Mayor Gama, thank you for your time. If you have nothing else to say, I think we're going to wrap it up now.
Thank you. I'd like to talk with you some more, and once we get opened up, we're going to have the Hueneme Beach Festival.
All right.
It's going to be, I think it's going to be called the Reach Hueneme Beach Festival. And it's going to be here August 28th to 29th. We got big time entertainment lined up, and then a future goal of ours is to have a music festival here on the beach.
Cool.
So we have a lot of plans. We're trying to get out of this COVID thing, get back to normal. Hopefully our Hueneme Beach Festival will be just that. And then one other thing I'd like to say is we have a nonprofit in the city called REACH, and it stands for Recreation, Education, Arts, and Culture in Hueneme. And hopefully we touched on all those subjects in our interview here. I think we did. But again, that kind of symbolizes what it is the city of Port Hueneme desires for the future.
Awesome. Well, yeah, for sure. I'd like to touch base later to see how everything turns out.
Awesome.
For sure, after everything's back to quote unquote normal.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you in the chambers hopefully here real soon.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right, bye.
That was Mayor Stephen Gama from the city of Port Hueneme. Great interview, great location. We met at the memorial for the plane crash that they had there off the coast of Port Hueneme back like 20 years ago. If you don't see your elected official or city official here on the show, please reach out to them and send them a link to the show so we can connect and I can get them on. Anyway, like and subscribe and share. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you guys next time.